Top of the hour, 105, very early Tuesday morning. Simon Chilikas, George Caparas, Jimmy Garofalis. This is the Ministry of Sports on Montreal Sports Authority, the Team 990. So, George, as you know, I am a boxing aficionado.
Are you?
Yeah. Me and Jim Lampley like this, my friend. Like this.
Simon Sugar?
Yeah.
Simon,
what's the salty dog that climbs into the ring and asks the questions? And I always wonder why the...
Larry Merchant?
Larry Merchant. I love Larry Merchant.
Yeah, I like Larry Merchant, too.
Love him.
Whatever happened to the Prince?
Prince is done, my friend.
Done
Prince
like
is who was on TSN's top 10
That's why
ring entrances.
I saw the Prince on TSN's top 10, and I wondered if this guy came in...
Thankfully, he's done.
Thankfully, he's done. Really.
Well, I don't want to see no more 2-hour entrances.
Why not?
A little bit long.
Fights that I pay $59 for last 30 minutes, I get a kick out of
No. Well, like Corey Spinks, who came in with Nelly.
With Nelly, physically Nelly.
Nelly, the singer, rapping and doing a choreographed dance
which is
routine, very interesting.
And since we're on the subject of boxing, of course, I brought in a couple of my boxing experts, friends, Costa and Alonso, joining us from www.boxing.tv.
Boxingshow.tv.
Boxingshow.tv, I apologize. Huge fight on the weekend. I figured this is a good time to talk boxing. Guys, thanks for taking the time to join us here on lovely Green Avenue. Not bad, at least.
Nice.
Plenty of parking at...
Hey, as long as we're talking about boxing, we're all for it.
So I'd like to ask you this question right off the bat. I enjoy the big fights. I know enough boxers. I don't know enough of, like the guy, ranked 4th or 5th in each division. But I know that Mayweather is a huge card, and UFC, that is, has become through the roof. How these cards went head-to-head, and the numbers haven't really come out. They're still
not yet.
But if you were to guess who got the better draw and who got more bang for their buck, UFC or boxing?
I think it's going to be almost equal, but I think the UFC probably got it. The fact that Marquez is a pretty good fighter, but I still think that they lost a lot of steam leading up to the Mayweather fight. So I think it's going to be most likely the UFC almost equal to the boxing. I think as soon as the fight comes up with maybe Manny Paquiao, then you're going to see the numbers are going to explode.
Through the roof.
To the roof with Mayweather and Manny Paquiao. That's the fight the fans want to see.
George Caparas, you mentioned that Floyd Mayweather, a 21-month absence for the ring.
Didn't show, absolutely.
Almost, how long was Tyson when he went to jail? Huge numbers.
Absolutely.
And I ask you, gentlemen, after 21 months not in the ring, how impressive was Floyd Mayweather's performance on Saturday night?
You know what? It was very impressive. The fact is, he cleared the board. He won every round. It wasn't even competitive. Just to give you an idea, Floyd Mayweather landed 290 punches as opposed to Marquez landing 69, which is ridiculous.
And what was even more impressive is that he landed 60% of his punches, which is one of the highest, especially given the fact that Marquez is such a highly skilled fighter, and he did it very impressively.
Looking at this, I spoke earlier about Bob Arum's comments that he made last week concerning the buys of UFC's pay-per-views, claiming that they were under the 1 million, in around 600,000. Also saying that the MMA is for skinheads, and making also some lewd comments about how they roll around like homosexuals. My question to you is, obviously, boxing has lost a little bit of its prestige, if you will, and it has been replaced by mixed martial arts and, if you will, the UFC. What is the future for boxing without having a marquee heavyweight to carry the sport?
You know what? Honestly, I believe that boxing is not dead. If you do look at the big numbers, the UFC will never make the numbers a fight like Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya made, or even a fight like Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather. The numbers are untouchable. UFC is consistently, they do 12 to 13 shows a year, so obviously they make good money, and it is gaining popularity, and it's a great sport. But the sports, instead of competing against each other and one mudslinging against the other, they should just coexist, because most of these MMA guys started off in boxing and have a lot of the boxing trainers, like Freddie Roach trains Arlovsky and a few other MMA fighters. So you know what? In their worlds, they do help each other out.
I'm going to say one more thing. Boxingshow.tv fans, do not worry, because boxing is in good hands right now with the return of Floyd and some of the upcoming stars. And I'll tell you another thing. I think the fact that the UFC came into the game now I think it's helping boxing because now they're trying to make better fights because they know the UFC is right behind them. So I think it's helping both sports. And at the end of the day, it's all about entertainment.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want to really, truly want to see as the fans.
Gentlemen, watching this fight on Saturday, Juan Manuel Marquez, obviously a little bit overmatched in terms that he had to go up to the welterweight division to fight Floyd Mayweather. Where do you see Manny Paquiao? They both started off as lightweights, but Manny Paquiao not really known as a guy to fight in the welterweight division. Where do you see him doing against Floyd Mayweather in a potential matchup?
Well, the problem is he has to get past Miguel Cotto first.
Which is a big fight,
Which
obviously.
is a big fight coming up in November, and it's not an easy fight. Miguel Cotto is a strong welterweight. He's a big welterweight.
He's not drained.
He's
like
not going to...
Oscar De La Hoya, he came in very drained. That was the big mistake that Oscar did. He never fought in 10 years at 147, and it was like a middleweight, draining his body, and he stayed for almost a month at around 145, 146 pounds, which was the mistake of Oscar.
Well, that's why I look at this, and he's been a super featherweight most of his career, Manny Pacquiao. So for him to come in now, and he did beat De La Hoya as a welterweight, and Ricky Hatton as a light welterweight, if I stand correct. I look at this fight, and again, it's going to be that disadvantage once again, the bigger man. But it was clear during the fight Saturday that Floyd Mayweather was the bigger man. And that's always going to be an advantage.
Right, but in this particular point, I have to make a really important point. It's not about, right now, about who's the bigger man. It's who had the bigger skills. Because obviously you saw Floyd, he didn't rough him up. He didn't push him around. He went skills for skills. And Marquez, this particular fight, Marquez was just outskilled and from the best boxer. Marquez is a hell of a fighter. He's one of the top elite fighters.
Considered one of the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters.
Top easily 3.
Yeah, well, in
before
the
Mayweather fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And some big wins Juan Manuel Marquez had before coming into this fight. And also got a draw against Manny Paquiao in the past. So he is considered one of the better fighters, but I just felt from the beginning of the fight, you could sense the speed was going to be too much to overcome. And the size factor with the speed, it was too much. Is that going to happen with Manny Pacquiao?
The size factor did not. When it comes to these type of fighters, obviously Mayweather came from he came with barely 130. The guy is not known to be a knockout artist. He really fights on skill and skill only. And I don't think the factor that he's bigger. I mean, a lot of people criticize Floyd Mayweather because when you're that great, guys like Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones Jr., when they make it so easy, people seem to criticize. And that's the biggest problem. He's that good. If the fight was a bit competitive, it was close enough, then people would not even talk about that bad about Floyd.
We're in conversation with Costan Alonso from www.boxingshow.tv. Sugar Shane, obviously not part of the card, but did everything he possibly could to get his name right across the sporting world come Sunday morning. Explain... Sugar Shane got into the ring and just started talking smack, talking trash in the middle of the ring. And what was your boy, Larry Merchant? I'd like to know what
you know the thing about Sugar Shane Mosley, if you take away his 2 losses, I believe, against Vernon Forrest, the guy's been almost unbeatable. And he's a guy has been avoided, much like in the past. He's a guy that people don't want to fight. He poses matchup problems, and he has a right to be angry.
You know what? Interestingly enough, Floyd Mayweather wanted to fight Mosley a few years ago.
Yeah.
Floyd wasn't the Floyd he is today, wasn't as known, and Floyd Mosley refused both times.
Claiming he had a toothache. That was his excuse.
Really?
Yeah. As he was coming up, and he didn't want to fight Floyd.